Trump issues executive order ramping up American police state. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. And Shalom to the 144,000. It's the brother Amawan Padah from the GMS Denver camp, coming at you with a quick news update. As you can see right here, big news. All right, people are talking about this. Trump signing an executive order ramping up the police, man. All right, pretty much, giving them more power. You see, and more protection. When it comes to things such as police brutality, all right, police murdering citizens, that Donald Trump is trying to protect them because we're coming into a time known as Jacob's trouble, all right, in which Esau's going to come down having great wrath, as it tells you in Revelation 12 and verse 12. All right, but without further ado, let's get a quick precept and we'll read some more of this article. This is Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 6. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. What is that talking about, man? It's talking about the utter terror that's going to fall upon, you men out here, man, especially here in America, Babylon the Great. All right? You're going to see men bent over holding their stomach. All right? Like women that's about to give birth. Why? Because they're going to be terrified, man, at the carnage that's getting ready to ensue. We're coming to a very bloody time known as Jacob's trouble. All right? And it goes on to say in this verse, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Now, we got to break this down and explain it. Jacob's trouble is a time in which you Israelites, because Jacob, that's synonymous to the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and even you Israelite foreigners, all right? This is the time of the Lord's judgment upon the 12 tribes, man. All right, he's finna, unleash Esau, Edom, okay, which is his sword, upon the Israelites that are not, in accordance with his will, man. Like, the 2/3 rebels. We're in a time of you wicked Israelites to be punished. And it's going to be brutal and bloody, man. The Lord is orchestrating these things, man. And like I said, one of the Lord's main weapons is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. But it says right here, but he shall be saved out of it, talking about the elect of the nation of Israel. And we pray and hope that we are that number. All right, this is deadly serious, man. We're in a time of the Lord just allowing death to grip the earth. And like I said, one of the ways he's going to do it is by unleashing his sword, which is Esau. Let's get a quick precept on that. So here we have right here, the book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 13. Arise, O Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And we know the wicked is none other than Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Okay. And he's the sword of Yahweh Shai. He's a tool used to punish wicked Israelites. And we're getting ready to see him be unleashed on a whole nother level, man. All right, he's getting ready to kill a lot of you Israelites out here in the near future. And that's why Donald Trump is ramping up the police. They're really expecting, sedition. They're expecting civil unrest, and they're going to cause it to happen. And then call the police in with beefed up weapons, militarized vehicles, and more protection. All right. Matter of fact, let's have more legal protection, should I say? Pretty much damn near immunity. All right. They're going to be able to just off you, you jakes out here in these streets, and not have any repercussions. All right. So without further ado, let's get into that article real quick. All right, so let's check it out. It says during Donald Trump's final weeks of his 2024 re-election campaign, he fantasized about one really violent day, quote unquote, of policing as an answer to eradicating crime in America. Speaking to supporters gathered at the Bayfront Convention Center in Erie, Pennsylvania in late September, Trump mused, quote unquote, one rough hour, and I mean real rough. The word will get out and it will end immediately, you know? So this reminds me of those Purge movies. If you ever seen the Purge movies, all right, it's a scenario in which the United States government, allows citizens to commit murder and to unalive at will without any repercussions to lower the crime rate. That's exactly what this sounds like, man. Okay. They pretty much give the police immunity out here in these streets and allow them to just do pretty much whatever the fuck they want to do to you Israelites without any repercussions, right? Let's jump down. It says, on Monday, as he prepared to celebrate his 100th day back in the White House, President Trump signed an executive order ramping up his efforts to embolden law enforcement across the country and shield them from accountability. Man, you thought the police was bad now? We're going to see, man. It's going to ramp up. The president instructed his administration to unleash high-impact local police forces, protect and defund law enforcement officers wrongly accused, and to protect and defend law enforcement officers wrongly accused and abused by state or local officials, and surge resources to officers in need. Trump directed Attorney General Pam Bondi to launch a program providing free legal resources to police officers accused of wrongdoing, while also ordering his administration to increase the supply of quote-unquote excess military and national security assets to local law enforcement. Yeah, man, they're going to beef up the military, man. You're going to be seeing the police, patrolling the streets with military weaponry, man. Okay, military armored vehicles patrolling your streets, man. All right. In one paragraph of the order, the Attorney General and associated agencies are instructed to maximize the use of federal resources to support state and local law enforcement training, increase pay for officers, enhance sentences for crimes against law enforcement, and investment in the security and capacity of prisons. Wow, let's check that out. Let's highlight that. You see that? So they want to put more money into expanding prisons. You know what I'm saying? Different detention facilities. What are they doing that for? They're getting ready for Jacob's trouble. They plan on locking a lot of you Israelites up, man. And when I say you Israelites, I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. All right, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man, but especially here in America. We're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, man, in which the Israelites will be targeted. Now, you're going to have other heathen, you're going to have heathen and even some Edomites caught up in this, those who pretty much go against the powers that be. They're going to be met with an increased police force, man. Okay? The signed order also encourages the prosecution of state and local officials for unlawfully prohibiting law enforcement officers from carrying out duties, and it calls on the Justice Department to prosecute state and local officials who promote diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that supposedly restrict law enforcement activity or endanger citizens on the grounds that diversity-related measures constitute discrimination or civil rights violations. All right, so he's trying to protect these policemen, and pretty much prosecute those who try to get in their way. The directive was issued alongside a separate executive order calling on the Attorney General to identify and punish so-called sanctuary cities that obstruct the law, that obstruct the enforcement of federal immigration laws. All right, so pretty much he's like, hey, man, We coming after these immigrants with whatever we got. But it's not going to stop at the immigrants. It's going to stop. It's going to continue to move on to the citizens. All right. Trump's latest executive orders follow the president's documented history of promoting police violence. You see, this is what this man is about. During his first term as president, Trump reportedly floated the idea of conducting mass executions. All right. Firing squad, people getting their head chopped off by way of guillotine. All right. He's been talking about these things, man. He wants to bring these things, into fruition. And he very well could. This could be the beginning of that happening, man. Mass executions by the police, by the government. And having U.S. police units kill scores of suspected drug dealers and criminals in urban areas. All right. Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like, they're putting laws into place to target certain demographics, man. All right. Certain demographics. And we believe that the main target of these orders is the men of Yahweh Shema Shai. Those who are preaching this gospel, man, the prophets. They could say, we suspect you of being a criminal, you know what I'm saying? And, we suspect you of hate speech or speaking against the government. So we're going to, do a summary execution. And that is pretty much the death penalty without any trial, just on the spot executions. All right, let's get a quick precept before we continue on. All right, so here we have Revelation 13 and verse 11. And it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." This is talking about America, aka Babylon the Great. All right, two horns like a lamb represents, the two main political parties here, Democrat and Republican. But the point I want to make here is it says that he spake as a dragon. All right, you go into the word draconian. All right, it goes into, harsh laws and whatnot. Okay, you see, and now this damn devil is speaking like a dragon, man, ready to devour. All right, draconian laws, man. I believe that, that word draconian goes back to the word dragon. All right, because matter of fact, let's look into it real quick. All right, so here we have the Edom Online word for draconian, or the definition of draconian, and the history. It says 1759, of or pertaining to Draco, the ancient Greek statesman. All right, so this goes back to a man known as Draco, right, who was known for putting in harsh laws on the people, right? It says, in reference to laws, rigorous, extremely severe, or harsh. You see, earlier draconic, which is implied in the 1640s. Draco is the Latinized form of Greek dracon, name of the archon of Athens, who laid down a code of laws for Athens from 621 BCE that mandated death as punishment for minor crimes. You see that? This is what Trump is bringing. His name seems to mean literally sharp-sighted. See, dragon. See, there's a link to dragon. All right, there you go. You see? So yeah, that's the point right there. All right, that lamb, all right, the two horns is now speaking as a dragon, meaning America is bringing forth these harsh draconian laws. All right, so back in the article. All right, because it just, shows you how Trump was pushing for things such as mass executions, man. All right. During his 2024 campaign, Trump repeatedly voiced his dreams of being a dictator on day one and spoke frequently about giving police immunity from prosecution. All right. Pretty much police having unlimited rights to do whatever the fuck they want to. In his push to carry out the largest mass deportation regime in U.S. history. Now, just over 3 months into his second term, the president's purge, that they use that term purge right there, the president's purge of the federal government, removal of U.S. citizens from the country, clashes between his administration and judicial powers, and escalating moves to expand his power have thrown the country into a moral and constitutional crisis. And he's trying to be a dictator, man. They could make this man Trump a damn dictator. All right? That's what it's looking like, man. But that's the point, man. That's that, that article right there, but it shows you where things are headed, man. It's about to get very violent out here in America, Babylon the Great. Alright, so I have this one. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." That's talking about the people, or the citizens, pretty much becoming lawless, not regarding the laws anymore, man. Taking the power into their own hands, rebelling against the government. We're getting ready to see that, man. And you see right now that a lot of people, a lot of Edomites, as well, are in an uproar against their own government. So they're expecting, sedition, man. And that's prophesied to happen. And they're going to be met with military force. Okay. "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." This entails martial law. It's all prophesied in the scriptures, man. When they lock the cities down and they declare police state, martial laws enacted, and that's in which the military is in control of the citizens. The military takes over the local police force. All right, curfews. All right, and if you step outside of your boundaries, they can be put on some shoot to kill orders. Going to be taking people out of their homes, send them to the detention centers if they deem you a threat. That type of shit is going on, man. And this is the time that we're coming into, man. Time of persecution. I want to show you something really quick. I want to go to the that article and look at the comments before we continue. All right, so let's check these comments out real quick. Okay, the first comment, it says, "We all do realize that our military pledges an oath to defend the Constitution from threats both foreign and domestic. I don't know any soldiers currently or veterans who would be okay with turning weapons on U.S. citizens. Have faith that there will be widespread insubordination." I just said that. "If they get orders to turn their weapons on people just trying to muddle through this dystopian administration." Just a little something to think about. So people understand that the majority of these military officials and these police authorities are not willing to turn their guns on their own citizens. So what they're going to do is they're going to activate those foreign troops that are already over here, man. All right, they got all them foreigners that came through the borders and whatnot. They're probably going to use them to turn on you American citizens, man. Because the average police officer won't have the heart, to turn on his own people. All right. So yeah, man, this is what they're talking about, man. The government weaponizing the police force against its own citizens. Okay. So yeah, man, that's all I wanted to read on this one. But let's go back to the precepts. We'll get ready to close this thing out. It's kind of late. All right, here we have 2nd Esdras chapter 16, starting verse 68. It says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idols." And when you see that word idle, IDLE, that means being locked up, man, stationary. All right, because when you're in, prison, you're idle. You're not able to move around freely. All right, the Lord prophesied that these things will happen, man, through the prophet Ezra or Esdras. Okay. Verse 69, it says, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot." All right, they're going to try to make you submit to their new world order, man. One of the ways they're going to do that is they're going to try to force that RFID microchip on certain people, man. They might have you locked up and say, "Hey, look, we'll release you only if you receive this radio frequency identification implant. So that way we can track you and know where your whereabouts are. And that way, we can identify the U.S. citizens and make sure they're not terrorists and shit like that. All right. They might bring that on you in that, that form. All right. But when you consent unto them, guess what? The Lord gonna destroy you, man. If you take that RFID microchip for any reason, even under the threat of imprisonment or death, the Lord's gonna kill you, man. All right. Point blank period. You've canceled out your salvation. So they could use this time to push that chip as well. All right. You'll have people that want to just get out, that are scared and whatnot. They're going to take it. All right. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So like I said, their main target is the true believers, man. Their main target is the elect. Starting with the prophets that are preaching and prophesying his word, man. Esau has his sights set on the righteous. And we can see that. All right. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see that? Esau's going to be unleashed out here on the earth like a madman. He's finna lose his shit. All right. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right. I'm talking about like 3 a.m. People, getting snatched out of their homes by the government for different online posts for your YouTube videos or things that they deem as a threat. And a local law enforcement is going to be totally justified, according to the laws that are being passed now. All right. That's why this is so significant. All right. They're going to have immunity. They're going to be able to do whatever the fuck they want to do to you people out here, man. But we understand that the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is in control, and then, and this must happen before we enter into the kingdom, man. But we're at the doors of this taking place. Verse 73, it says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. You see, this is the time where the Lord's going to show who his elect are, because he's going to shield his elect, and he's going to do different miracles on behalf of the elect. Lord willing, we're of that number. You're going to see men rose up with spiritual power to defend themselves against Esau and his military when they come after us, man. Let's get a quick precept on that. Isaiah 59 verse 19, it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. The spirit of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua shall lift up a standard against him. So when Esau runs down on the men of the Lord, guess what? A standard will be lifted. Spiritual power, miracles will be worked on behalf of the elect to combat against these goddamn devils when they attempt to murder the elect. You see? And this is deadly serious, man. This ain't, something that your Christian church pastor will, warn you about. Only the true men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua will bring these things out and give you that early warning. Okay? The Lord is going to step in for his elect in these times we're coming into. All right? So don't forget that. Have faith. Keep the faith. But these troubling times are coming. It's going to be to the point where we're going to have divine intervention. Because Esau's going to come in with overwhelming force, man. And if you're not of the elect, you're going to be swept up, by the sword when it comes down. I got to bring this out. Got a couple more. We're going to close it. Daniel 12 verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up. All right. And that's talking about the archangel Michael, or Michaela in the Hebrew. That's how you pronounce that. All right. The great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was, since there was a nation even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. And those who are written in the book of life are the elect, man. They were predestined from the foundation of the earth to receive salvation. All right. And one of the great signs of you being of this number is receiving this truth. You know, the Lord willing, we hold on to it and endure these times we're coming into, man. All right. But the thing is that the Lord said he's going to have to send Michael, the archangel, to protect the Israelites in the time we're coming into, man, to protect the remnant of the nation of Israel. It's going to get that crazy out here. Divine intervention is going to have to take, place. I'm going to close it with this. This is Acts 14 verse 22. And it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So yeah, man. All right, much tribulation. We have to get through this time. All right, we have to get through Jacob's trouble. That's the only way we're going to enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. There's no other way. So the best bet is to just buckle up, all right, move in faith and hope for mercy, man, and expect the Lord to come through. All right. This is why we tell you Israelites to repent and turn back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, so that you can have that hedge of protection around you in the times we're coming into. All right. And this is where Isaiah 4:1 going to take place as well, man. This could be the beginning of Isaiah 4:1, where 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. All right. Because there's going to be so much death out here. They're going to be trying to hide up under a man of the Lord. All right. Because, the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai are going to be the only ones that are stable in the time we're coming into, man. So I'm going to end this lesson right here. Just want to show you that news update. All right. Things are ramping up, man. It's not a game. Turn back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you Israelites. I'm going to end this lesson right here. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who will, who taught us this truth through the power and the spirit of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, and Kwame Yasharala in the Bible Ball. Stay strong in the faith. Shalom.